pears and some more pears. Good morning. It's Monday morning and it is time to can some pears. If you saw the other picture, what the pears looked like when we picked them, which was sort of a light green. Now they've been sitting out in the cool shed. And here's the process. Sort of the same as making pear jam. First thing I want to do is use a melon baller, take out the blossom end, then I'll use a potato peeler and peel the skin off, cut it in half, remove the core, remove the stem, and then I'll put them in this water that has a couple teaspoons of citric acid in it because pears go brown really fast. Once I have a nice bowl full of those, then I have simple syrup here. In here I have 2 cups of sugar and 2 quarts of water. And then once they've boiled for 5 minutes, then I put them in the jars. Okay, as I said, I hold the pear from the bottom end, and I use the potato peeler to peel around the top, and then either use the potato peeler or else use a little paring knife to cut the peeling off the bottom there. And now I have a skinless pear, which will turn brown really, really fast if I don't get it into that citric acid water. So we'll cut it in half. Okay, and this is what it looks like. This is what the pear looks like when it's all cleaned up and ready to go. I'll put it in the water, and I've got plenty of citric acid in there. So the ones I made before, they turned out a very pretty light color. In fact, let me show you what they look like. There, you see, I didn't have my own peaches this year, so I bought some from the Amish store. But that's what the pears look like. Aren't they pretty? The citric acid is what keeps them that nice white color. This is a new method I'm using this year. What I used to do was as soon as I cleaned up the pears, as soon as I peeled them and cored them, I put them directly into this syrup. The problem is they need to boil for 5 minutes. Well, it takes a long time to get a kettle full of these. Some of them would be cooked longer, some of them would not be cooked enough. So this way, everything stays in here until I have enough, and then I'll use my strainer. Where is that? Our pears are not pretty, but they're good sized. This would have been large for the bush love pears I saw for sale at the store down our road. This is really large. So pears, the larger they are, the less work you have to do to get a few bites of pears out of them. So 15 minutes later, I have not made much of a dent in this dish pan, but I have enough here to see how they stayed white this way. How they didn't discolor. I have enough here to scoop into the simple syrup, and remember I need to boil them for 5 minutes. The jars I sterilized in the oven 225 for 15 minutes, so they are ready to go. I have the lids also heating up in water that I simmered. That's about right. Okay, as soon as they come to a boil, I'll set the timer for 5 minutes. And now I need to fill this up again. Okay, when I can peaches, we do not boil the peaches before we put them in the jars. Why do we do that with pears? Well, pears are kind of more like apples. They are crunchier. And you're not going to be able to stack very many in here when they're raw. When they're cooked, you'll be amazed. I'll have to count. You'll be amazed at how many pears I can scoop into a 1-quart jar. And I want you to notice something before they start cooking. Okay. See what they look like now when they're raw. They're a real opaque white color. Well, after they've boiled for 5 minutes, they should start looking a bit translucent. As far as what variety of these, they're either Bartlett or Stark and Delicious, which is sort of a variety of Bartlett. If you've never had home canned pears and you've only bought like the cans from the store, I won't even eat those. They're crunchy, they're flavorless. These pears are wonderful. I mean, they're wonderful fresh, and they're just as wonderful canned. After 5 minutes, this is how they look. If you've heard of poached pears, this is not quite enough to be poached, but it's enough for canning. Let me show you the difference. Here's what a raw one looks like. See the difference, how white that is in comparison with the others get a bit translucent. Okay, so let's count. These are big. So I'm not going to be able to get as many of these in as usual. I try to do them with the cut side down. That one flipped over. One flipped over. I'll see how many I can get in. This will be easier to do with two hands. I got 10 pear halves in this. You see how I actually did manage to get them all cut side down. And now I need to fill it up to here, there, with this same simple syrup. Actually, you know what? They settled. I can fit one more in there. Let's make it 11. That first batch made 2 quarts. Let's put the syrup in here. The more pears I get in, the less syrup it ends up taking. I think I could have put another pear in there, but that was all I had. Oh! I need to move the funnel. Move the funnel over here. Pour the syrup in. I used to have a wand sort of thing where you could get all the bubbles out. I don't bother with that anymore. If you have one of those, that's great. You can try to use a rubber spatula. That takes a lot of time, and I haven't really noticed anything. Maybe the one on top might end up getting a little bit discolored, but that's okay. You've seen this many times before if you've watched my videos. Now I need to wipe off the edge real carefully. I'll wipe it off with another paper toweling then. I started after my prep work about 8:15 this morning. It's now almost 9:40. So after, what is that? Not an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes or so, I finally have my 7 cans ready to steam can. I'll put the lid on that. I remember from when I was, turn this on medium, when I was steam canning my salsa, once an 8-inch column of steam comes out there, then I start timing, and I'll time for 20 minutes. So that's what I have left out of this dishpan full. So this will make more than 7 quarts. How many will this make? I don't know, maybe 8, 9. So I'll do these, and then I'll go fill it up again. 20 minutes is up. After being steam canned for 20 minutes, use a jar lifter, bring them over to the counter on a double thickness of towel. I will leave them set out for 24 hours, and then I'll take the ring off. Hopefully they've all sealed. Wipe around the edge there, and then put them in the cupboard. And here's dishpan full number 2. This is all I'm going to do today. After canning 10 quarts of pears, the little bit of syrup that was left was getting pretty brownish looking and had flecks of pear in it. So I dumped what was left. It wasn't much, maybe 2 cups, and started fresh. Also got some fresh citric water. So since I figured I was half done, it was time to get everything nice and clean. So this last batch of pears will be just as white and pretty as the first batch. 4 hours, 15 minutes later, I'm done. Pears are empty there. I've dumped about 2 of these already. I am done for the day, except for cleaning up. I have 20 quarts. That's all I have to show for, almost 4.5 hours. Pears are very labor intensive, and I'm going to have to do this all over again, if not tomorrow, then Wednesday. Till next time, this is Lori Fiechter with My Indiana Garden and Kitchen, signing off. Ciao.